Everything about this remaster was special to me. Oblivion holds a special place in my heart as my favorite Elder Scrolls game, and it's also special in a way that is interesting to me because about maybe 6 months ago, perhaps 8 months ago, we had a discussion during one of the live streams, which became a VOD for YouTube, talking about how I really don't go in for remasters and remakes that often because I prefer to play new games. I prefer to play like the newer entries into beloved IPs, and I prefer that companies focus on those things. So, flash forward to where we are today with the Oblivion Remastered, and I have had an absolute amazing time in this, and it really, I will admit that my perspective has changed slightly because I feel like based on the conversations that I've seen in my videos, in my live streams, on the guides that I've been creating and everything else, there are quite a bit of people who had never played this game before who were brought to the magic of Oblivion because of this remastered edition. So I gotta say, as much as I am in favor of companies pushing new products out as opposed to working backwards and only ever remastering or remaking old things, this is a really good remaster. So I just wrapped up the main storyline yesterday, and now I'm off to an adventure that is infinite in essence. Because once you've finished the main quest, the adventure doesn't have to stop in Oblivion Remastered. I still have all of these amazing quests that I can go work on. I still haven't done the Fighters Guild. I still haven't done the Mages Guild. I haven't done the Dark Brotherhood quest. And these are just the quests that I uncovered in my adventures. I didn't go out of my way to look for anything. I was just following the main quest. Essentially, what I did was the main quest up to the point where I got to Cloud City, as I call it, and then I backed out and I did the Knights of the Nine and the Shivering Isles DLCs because I'd never seen those before. And then I circled back around and finished the main quest line, and I got about I think somewhere in the mid 50s hours out of it, and now I've got all of these quests that I can work on, and I'm going to be continuing to plug away at this game here and there um, over the coming weeks, just sort of like on a probably once a month casual basis, just to continue to get my fix here and there. Because I really do think that this remaster was exceptionally well done. I ended up with a stealth archer essentially, who also had some magic. If we go into the character sheet, this is his basic structure: wood elf, thief. Ended up at level 18. Um, Hang on, let me go over here. I maxed out my agility, my speed, and my intelligence, and I have since been working on willpower and endurance. And I haven't dinged yet to start putting points into strength, but I um, was able to do exactly what I wanted to do, which was re-experience the Gray Fox storyline. Oh, I forgot to mention that I did the Gray Fox storyline before I did the two DLCs, and that was the thing I remember the most. Along the way, there were moments like when the Dark Brotherhood approached me. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. This is that assassin quest." Um, and I vaguely remember doing the Fighters Guild and Mage Guild quests back in the day, but it's been so long ago. Most of this game was pretty new to me in a sense. So I think that's one of the things I really appreciate. It's a little different when I play a game like, say, right now we're also playing the Days Gone remaster. And the only reason I bought that was because when I played that game the first time, it was about 4 years ago on the PS4, and I played it on the with the subscription, so it was part of my monthly sub. And felt like I felt like it was the remastered edition brought enough to the table in terms of new graphics because now I have a PS5, and updated some systems and stuff. And to me, it was like, okay, yeah, I'll give them $50 because I didn't give them any money when I played it the first time, and I would love to see a sequel to that game. But the difference between a game that's been out 6 or 7 years versus a game that's been out, for 20 years is very different because this visually speaking, this game looks completely different than the way it looked 20 years ago. There was an interesting conversation we had about the 20, the version of us who played 20 years ago probably thought that the game looked as good as it looks now, but it really didn't. But our brains at the time were like, oh my God, these are the best graphics ever. But looking at the way they've done the reskin on this game, it's breathtaking. I really, really had a great time. The addition of this third person POV that you can run around in, which I don't use because I am a first person lover when I get the chance. But being able to come in here and also duck and dodge, these were the things that were added into this edition for players. Um, I love the fact that they mentioned the third person in Starfield when they were discussing the addition of third person into this game because I like playing first person in Starfield as well. I prefer first person to third person. Um, it just, for me, I get a greater sense of immersion when I can run around like this. I had a great time with this. I did talk about this in my the video I made the other day about once I hit 50 hours. I didn't realize how close I was to the end of the game when I made that video. Otherwise, I would have waited to just do it in my final review, which is this video. But to expound upon something I said there, the one thing I love everything about this remaster, but it definitely feels like a 20-year-old game in a lot of places. Like with the fact that you can't dual wield. Um, the combat is super clunky. At least on the console, I know on mouse and keyboard it's easier to control where your strikes are landing, but I am like the world's worst archer with this character. Like I'm fine if I'm stealthing, but the moment you ask me to hit a moving target, it's not going to happen because the things in this game move around so quickly, and trying to like shoot, especially when you're trying to shoot a target in the middle of like a mob of friendlies and you're trying to avoid friendly fire. Like I had to reload the very last. There's like a portion of this game without spoiling anything, but there's the last sort of main quest in this game. You're fighting alongside a bunch of allies, and I accidentally killed allies like 3 different times and had to reload because I was accidentally taking out my own people, and that was something that it's just one of the clunky aspects of the game that can't be fixed because they haven't. It's not a remake, it's just a remaster. It's just a reskinned version of the original game. So, all of the old jank is here. We have had some absolutely hilarious moments with some of the old school jank we've seen, from broken dialogue to bodies floating around and doing things they shouldn't be doing, T-posing, and everything else, but still having an absolute amazing time. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. The map is big. If you were someone who's going to be playing this for the first time, like I said, I did mid 50s. I probably could have pushed it to 60 hours, but that was what I wanted to get out of it. I've got other games to play, and this was just something because they shadow dropped this. This was not on my agenda to play, and I literally changed my schedule to play this, but I can't play this infinitely. And this is one of the areas where I would say where if you're someone who's playing this for the first time, you're in for a treat because there's easily 175 to 200 hours worth of content in this game if you clear all the quests, do all the DLC, do all of the guilds, and all that content that there is to see. Um, it's really hard for modern games to achieve that level of content saturation because the cost of modern development is so much higher, and the requirements for, and I mean financial requirements for the mocap and the voice actors and the motion performance actors and just the talent involved in creating cinematic RPG experiences is so high. You do have exceptions to those rules, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an exception, Baldur's Gate 3 is an exception. Those are games where you can easily get 150 hours, 200 hours of gameplay out of them. But most games these days are going to be focusing in on a 30 to 50 hour experience if they are an RPG, maybe offering a completionist journey of 60 to 80 if you're very lucky. But this is one of those games where you're going to get hundreds of hours of entertainment from a single playthrough, and then if you decide you're going to go through and play all the different classes, and there's a lot of different things you could do. Um, there's, I don't want to say infinite replayability, but this is like, I feel like this has now given Oblivion the types of legs that Skyrim has had for a long time, with being a game that's then going to go on and continue to draw people in for hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of gameplay in the next decade ahead of us. So it's a very interesting place to be. For my money's worth, I've always preferred Oblivion to Skyrim just because I like the story here a little bit more. I have more fond memories with this game because I was playing this. Skyrim came in a weird place in my life where I was on the road, and so I didn't really get to immerse myself in Skyrim as much as I did with Morrowind and Oblivion. And Morrowind was something I felt that was my first ever Elder Scrolls game, and so playing that game and then right off of the back of that, jumping into Oblivion was like, this is one of those things. And I wasn't someone who got sucked into playing World of Warcraft. I was playing EverQuest 2, so this fit in nicely with my schedule. Anyway, coming back around to playing this game 20 years later and playing the remaster, I definitely think that it's worth the money if you're someone who appreciates just a really deep RPG. If you're someone who's already played this game for hundreds of hours, you're probably not going to get your money's worth out of it per se. But if you're someone like me who hadn't played it in 20 years, it was almost like a new experience for me. There were some elements that I remembered, but because it'd been so long and I've played hundreds of games, probably more than 1,000 games since this came out, it was really fuzzy somewhere back there in the back recesses of my mind, and I had a great time with it. I'm looking forward to continuing to dabble a little bit here and there, but of course I do have a lot of other games to play, so hopefully you'll tune in for all the other things that I do. So follow along, YouTube and Twitch every single day. This is the day job. I go live bright and early at around 5 a.m., but I'm also still continuing to produce some guides for Oblivion Remastered, and you'll see me dabbling a bit, especially in the month of May, because we have some gaps in between things like Doom the Dark Ages and the Star Wars DLC. We got Tainted Grail, which is going to be something we do later on in May, but hopefully we'll see you in all that stuff. Stay safe. Have fun out there. Let me know your thoughts on the Oblivion Remaster down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.